I think we're going to go ahead and get together. My name is Alan Leveritt. I'm with the Arkansas Times, and I'm going to be moderating this panel. We've got Dr. Whitelocke here with the NJ, Ozark NJ card. We've got Good Day Farms. We got this Hippie Hounds here. Andrea, okay, Andrea, Hippie Hounds has not made it so far. We've got Healing Hemp of Arkansas, Osage Dispensary, and as I said, Good Day Farm. So we're going to go ahead and get started. And we'll start with Daniel. And Daniel, what about telemedicine? Is that a viable way to get qualified for a marijuana card?
Yeah, in the state of Arkansas, they now made it allowable again after suspending it last year due to COVID. But for telemedicine for renewals in Arkansas, it's been a real vital resource for us, really because for a number of reasons. For patient convenience, I think the most important reason, because a lot of patients, I think the great majority of patients here in Arkansas, transportation access to physicians, not just for MMJ, but physicians, primary care in general, that becomes a real issue. You know, so much of the rural population here in Arkansas, having the telemedicine has really been a vital, very useful resource.
So how do they set that up with you or any other doctors?
So how it works with us, for us, specifically, it's built into our CRM, into our client relations management system. So when I see a patient, I already have their medical history before me. I review it before I see them, and pretty much they will click into the video, and I'll click into the video, very much like Zoom or Google Meets, that sort of thing. Correct.
They just call you and that just
Right. It's a video meeting. They click in and we speak, and that's pretty much it.
Talk a little bit about what are the uses for CBD and CBG, and how are they different? And yeah, let's just start there.
There we go. Got it now. All right. So our main things that we have customers coming in for relief from anxiety, pain, sleep. Those are our main things. When we first started out, our main product line was just strictly CBD. As the industry is maturing and the education is getting a little more out there, we've incorporated a lot more of the cannabinoids, CBG being a main one that was kind of the first one to come on. We've also added on our CBN, CBCs. But I would say, so your CBD, CBG, they react with the endocannabinoid system. Inflammation we've seen some really good results with reducing the inflammation. Anxiety, again, like I said, the CBG is actually showing really promising studies with an antifungal. So it actually has been used in some studies with staph infections, psoriasis. It's really good. It also, CBG specifically, is really shown to benefit some the eye pressure. So glaucoma patients have really seen a lot of relief with the CBG products. Your glaucoma. Again, I mean, we use it for so many different things. The sleep.
Well, help me understand. Y'all probably know more about this than I do, but let's say that I know that the entourage effect is really important. So, and let's say that Dr. Nichols says I need to get this type of marijuana and you need CBG. So do I go to the dispensary and get my marijuana, and then I come to you to get the CBD and CBG? Is that how it works?
Right. Well, actually, that's pretty exciting because initially, yes, when the whole first medical marijuana industry started, they really weren't selling the CBD so much on the dispensary level. Education wasn't there. Even if we took the product to sell it at the dispensary in the beginning, the bud tenders maybe weren't all fully educated on the entourage effect. So yes, you're going to get benefits from your THC, and then you're going to get separate benefits from the CBD, but when you put them both together, the synergy of the cannabinoids, the entourage effect, the benefits are just exponentially better. We do have a lot of people at Healing Hemp that they go to the dispensary, they get their medical marijuana, and then the bud tenders will send them to us.
Gotcha.
And then we'll either work with them on a tincture. I know y'all were talking about the flower earlier, since we can't carry that. That was actually very beneficial. We had a lot of people that would use the CBD or CBG flower along with their medical marijuana. But we do a lot of tinctures, a lot of topicals, things that, they're not offered so much only on the dispensary level. We also offer a lot more of the customer relation in walking through the products with the customers and what is actually going to work best for your needs.
Okay. All right. Very good. One thing that I've been got my attention is there aren't a lot of physicians who know a whole lot about marijuana. 3 up here today. And so a lot of this falls to the bud tenders and to the cultivators, and, the people that they can do a job to know about marijuana. I'm curious, at Good Day Farm, do you guys, how do you train your people? I mean, how do you take somebody like me and turn me into an expert?
Well, as cannabis science is fairly new, and there is an established market out in the West Coast, it's a lot about finding self-starters, and everything in this industry is very teachable. And no matter where you're starting out in the industry, everybody's at a different point in their journey. And with that being said, I would say about 90 to 95% of our bud tenders are patients themselves. So they have experience with the product in their specific markets, which makes them invaluable to us. And one thing that we hold very dear to ourselves at Good Day Farm is the fact that all of our people get relief from these products and are able to then push that towards the other patients in the market, because they understand what you guys are trying to accomplish as well. Some of the things that we do teach, in Missouri, there's a company called Learn Brands where the bud tenders can go online and basically do this educational course on these cultivators' products to learn more about them. And when they're finished, they get to sample the products so they can better deliver the message to y'all. We also do, back to being patients, most of our, but it's not you don't need to be a patient to work for us. We'll take you as you come. But being that they're patients, there are a lot of self-starters. They'll research this stuff on their own too. I try to have a copy of the Cannabis Health Index. It's probably the most up-to-date scientific script on cannabis as it stands. And apart from that, Weed Maps and Leafly are also great educational resources for people to learn about cannabis at all different walks of your journey.
Chris, could you talk about the hybridization of THC, what kind of effect that's had in terms of being able to direct different strains for different people with the different conditions?
Absolutely. As cannabis has grown, growers, cultivators have basically taken indica, sativa strains and looked for the best properties out of each and combined those strains to create a better overall strain or product for the consumer or patient. So as time has gone by, they have really keyed in what's truly going to work for certain conditions. What they've definitely found is you're not just wanting one thing or another out of a cannabis plant. You don't want just THC a lot of times. You don't want just CBD a lot of times. There are, instances where that is untrue and you would want, one or the other. But in most cases, you're getting the most benefit from that plant, that entourage effect, like the others have mentioned already, from actually having that whole plant. And hybrid strains have been able to develop kind of the best out of both worlds, so to speak. You can have, a certain strain that's going to be a hybrid, that's indica dominant hybrid, that's going to help you to feel relaxed, but it's not going to sedate you. So you are getting, kind of the best of both worlds. Same could be said for a sativa dominant. You'll have that energizing effect, but you'll still feel calm about it. A lot of people are liking that rather than going from one extreme to the other.
Dr. Whitelocke, what are the most common, I got two questions here. Sure. First of all, in terms of the qualifying conditions, what are the most common that you see that your patients come in terms of qualifying conditions?
Going by numbers, I think PTSD is quite a common one. And I think looking at intractable pain broadly, or if you want to group if you want to get more fine with it, if you include intractable pain along with severe arthritis, fibromyalgia, the painful type presentations, if you were to sort of lump them in one, including peripheral neuropathy, PTSD, and those pain conditions, those seem to be the most common ones that I get from a certification number standpoint.
What conditions would you see, do you think that ought to be added? And also, are there any that you don't think should be there? Like Dr. Nichols said, he said
glaucoma. So I'll touch on both of those. Firstly, I do want to say I agree with him as far as the glaucoma. Cannabis can't, because of the short duration of action. Okay, pretty much by 4 hours, the effect of cannabinoids would be gone in terms of having any effect on intraocular pressure. So I agree there. I think it's good just to have on as adjunct. But yeah, glaucoma, it's probably not useful as single therapy. I also agree. I wouldn't advise patients to stop taking their medications for glaucoma. Now, as far as conditions that I think should be added as actual discrete conditions, I think anxiety, number one, right off the bat, because PTSD is on the list, but
anxiety is not?
Anxiety is not as a discrete entity. If it's non-traumatic related type anxiety, organic anxiety, generalized anxiety disorder, a phobia, what have you, those sorts of things aren't there as discrete diagnoses that can be qualifiable. And I think that's unfortunate because those are qualifiable conditions in most medical marijuana states. Insomnia, a big one, huge one, because that's a big symptom that people report, regardless of their qualifying condition. People report relief in terms of getting restful sleep with cannabis. Well established. Ask any guy on the couch who smoked, or a girl who smoked way too much cannabis. Good for a nap. Great for a nap.
Okay. So with Good Day, what are the what changes have you seen to the bill in terms of amendments and changes in the way that we're to access medical marijuana? I know the legislature, which puzzles me, but it was in the original amendment that they could amend the amendment. And what kind of changes have you seen? What kind of changes do you object to? And also, would you have any that you would suggest that would make this a better situation?
As far as I'm aware, there haven't been any or many amendments or changes to the amendments, but one thing we would like to see for the patients and people of Arkansas is a recreational bill passed.
Recreational?
Yeah, I think the state is ready for it, and it would open up a new channel for people who don't necessarily want to go through the medical process, but still could get some medicinal benefits from the plant. Because whether you're a recreational user or medicinally focused user, you're getting a benefit one way or the other.
Okay. I want to come back to you real quick. So what is the situation with federal firearms and a marijuana, or actually any of y'all that want to take that on?
So no pun intended, loaded subject, very, very touchy, popular subject. So I'm not legal counsel, so take my response, please, with a grain of salt, all right? Full disclosure. So I'll say what I know, and what I don't know, I'll try not to comment on. So I think the subject at hand, specifically with regards to medical cannabis card holders and firearms specifically, is the concealed carry permit, not the right to own a firearm broadly in your home or open carry. Open carry I won't comment on. I think that's too much of a gray area. But as far as keeping a firearm in your home and holding a medical cannabis card, no problem there. It's your home. That's castle law, domicile law, okay? So that applies there. Now, the subject at hand comes up when people are getting either renewing their concealed license or going to get their initial one. The question I believe that they've amended is with regards to, are you taking any illegal drugs? Now the amendment reads something to the effect of including marijuana. So that's been added as a specific.
Disqualifier.
Correct. So if you have a medical marijuana card, I think the question, you'd either have to lie and purge yourself or not have a card. So that's really where, I think that's where the crux is as far as I know.
What if you got the permit before you got the card?
If you got the permit before you got the card, I can't comment, don't know.
Could you speak up? Oh, I see. You can't get your renewal. There you go. Well, that answers the question, right? Right there. Erin, so what are amongst all the uses for CBD and CBG? What is the most certain? I mean, what is it of all the different treatments? What are you sure is going to work? You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
Well, I know. Okay, there we go. Fair enough.
What I can do is I can give you customer feedback and I can give you some history.
Okay.
I can't say without certain, this is going to help you. What I can also do is walk you through different delivery methods. I can walk you through different milligrams. I mean, so I can walk you through a lot of things, but I'm not going to guarantee.
Okay. All right. Well, what do you find?
What's working the most? I mean, they're coming anxiety is our number one thing. Anxiety and then pain. Sleep, people needing help sleep would be the next. So
we didn't say anxiety. What is the delivery system? Is it a pill or is it a uh-huh. Okay. Your phone,
Can you hear? There we go. So typically for anxiety, what I'm going to start you on is a tincture. That's what we're going to suggest to begin with. That's a sublingual liquid. It's absorbed through the bloodstream, and it's a pretty fast acting. That gets in your whole body, so you're going to kind of just regulate your endocannabinoid system that way. If you were coming in for pain, I probably am going to also get you a tincture so you've got your inflammation from the inside, but then I'm going to suggest a topical so that you get, a localized relief from that. The sleep, we have, again, when we first started out, everything was pretty much just strictly CBD. With the education out there and the processing advancements, they're learning how to isolate different cannabinoids that we can add into. So we now have products that are going to have some CBN for you. So if you come in and you tell me, we need sleep, I'm going to try to direct you more to our products that have the cannabinoids that would specifically help with that. What else did you?
I think one of your main questions was what's like the end all be all? What are patients really focused on right now? And to answer that broadly, I don't think there's a singular approach. While we all do have endocannabinoid systems, they all operate and tweak a little bit differently. With that being said, some people literally lack the enzyme in your stomach to be able to properly break down THC and let your body distribute it effectively. So edibles may not work for that population. So you have to try a different route, maybe vapes or flower. And as far as any of the specific cannabinoids or terpenes, what you really want to look for as a patient, being a patient myself, is the entourage effect that she mentioned earlier. It is invaluable. Like, yes, you can get a lot of benefits from THC and CBD alone and CBG alone, but you're really doing yourself a disservice by not letting them all party together, for lack of a better term. It's the synchronicity of those things that'll make your endocannabinoid system work the best. CBD, like you said, good for pain. CBG, great for appetite. And when you combine all those things, you're really giving the plant a chance to do what it's supposed to do.
You know, I guess if there was one message that has come through this whole 2 days and also last year when we did this is the entourage effect. That is the most important thing. It's not, you know, you do not walk into a dispensary and say, give me your best stuff, you know, give me your high THC necessarily. It's the entourage.
We did in the beginning, yes.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to get high, that's fine, you know, but if you're truly looking for it for medicine, I've got more questions here, but I thought maybe you guys might have some questions that you would like to ask our panel here.
I saw one hand went up there really quickly.
Yes, sir.
The question asked was appetite stimulants. And honestly, it is. And this is going to be trial and error again for her specifically. Like I said, everybody's endocannabinoid system is just a little bit different. While all these things do have a general blanket effect, it'll be per user. And from my experience and my journey in cannabis, it's a lot of trial and error. One thing that I can say is that Good Day just came out with these 1-to-1 gummies. They're ratioed 20-to-1, 8-to-1, and 1-to-1s, and they are phenomenal. I was strawberry lemonade all the way for myself. And now I do the 1-to-1s regularly because not only do they offer the party up top, but the relief that I'm looking for in other parts of my life. So, and for those of you who are unaware, just brought up a great point. The 1-to-1, the ratio gummies are 1 part THC to 1 part CBD, which just means they have the same milligram amount per gummy. So in one gummy, you're getting 10 milligrams of CBD and 10 milligrams of THC. Now, when you take these together, the effects of THC will be drowned out just a hair by the CBD, so you're not going to get the full psychoactive effect of the THC, but you're going to get a lot more pain relief, just because CBD needs THC as a catalyst to move throughout your body and work effectively.
What kind of dosage, though? I mean, is someone my size going to take 1 gummy or 2 gummies, or what's it going to be?
Again, this is all dependent on the person and their ECS and their level and where they're at in their journey. Like, I'm fairly smaller than you. I could probably eat a handful of gummies compared to you. And your half a gummy would be my 5. So okay. It really depends on the person where they're at. And you can base that off milligrams. So all of our gummies are 10 milligram gummies. If a patient comes in looking just for that THC specific gummy, we know when we give them a 1-to-1 that has 10 milligrams of THC and 10 milligrams of CBD, they're not going to get the same psychoactive effect because, like I said, the CBD will drown out the THC just a hair.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Other questions? Yes, ma'am.
Has a lot to do with what your regular medicine tolerance is, because I'm really high tolerance to medicine, so I take a lot of CBD, where I had a lady recover from blood cancer on 5 milligrams every couple of days, which was a miracle.
Yeah.
So that's why I always work with people and start low and work into their dose. But my main question was, can you touch on Delta 8 at all?
Ooh. Delta 8.
Yeah. We don't personally sell it or grow it.
What do you know about it?
What I know about it, it's for a specific population. Some people love it, some people don't. Same thing with just Delta 9. It just depends on the person. I don't know the science, to be honest.
Okay, so Delta 8 THC. Let me just start by saying I have no firsthand knowledge of Delta 8. It's relatively new. So Delta 8 THC, okay, different from Delta 9 THC. The Delta is the position of the OH, the hydroxyl group. All right, so that OH group, instead of being at carbon 9, it's at carbon 8. Okay, but it's almost like, and the same hydroxyl group, I think it's also the same one that differentiates THC from CBD. It's just that you pop off a hydroxyl group and you get a double bond. Anyway, I don't want to get too much into the semantics of the chemistry. What's important here is that the delta 8 THC sits into the CB1 receptor. Its binding affinity is different from that of delta 9 THC.
So is it more potent, or?
From what I'm getting from early reports, it doesn't seem to be as potent. I can't really comment on the overall effect of it, just because it seems relatively new to me, and I've just gotten scarce little reports on it, so I can't really speak extensively on it.
Erin?
Yeah. So can you hear me this time? All right. So nobody wants to answer on it because legally it's such a gray area. And to be perfectly honest with you, I can't even get a definite answer. And I've called top dogs trying to find out, and I've read through the Farm Bill. I've read through what they tell me is amended, and now so that's why nobody wants to answer it. However, I will say we have a lot of people calling the store asking for it. From what my understanding is, it is a cannabinoid, but it is there's a low amount of it produced. And so to actually get a full product that's consumable, they're having to synthesize it. So I think therein lies where the gray legality comes with it. And then even more than that, even more important than the legality is the quality of it. Because that's what's happening. People are out there synthesizing something, and it's not a pure product.
Could you speak
exactly
up?
So it's not regulated. There's no one following through on testing with it. So even more to me, the bigger problem than, like I said, the legality of it is the purity of it and what you're actually taking. I do know I've got several very reputable companies that I deal with on CBD products. They do produce a Delta 8 and a Delta 9 product. I personally have taken the Delta 8. I like it. It doesn't give you the psychoactive effect to me so much as the THC does, but it's a little bit more than a CBD. So I would say you're getting a little more of a psychoactive effect from both the Delta 8 and the THC 9 than you are regular CBD, but then less from the THC. That's my personal experience. That's my customer feedback.
Right. I've been selling it since a year ago, August, even through all the raids and everything.
You stuck it out.
I stuck it out.
Yeah.
And then I found out an hour after they signed the hemp bill. That's how tight I am with some of my distributors. But anyway, it is an approval by the state. I do have a phone number on my wall if I ever get raided to talk to a very specific human
I'm going to
being.
get that from you later.
Yeah,
because they ring the phone off the wall looking for it.
I got lucky enough that I got to sell it for 2 months before anybody knew what the hell was going on, which is cool. But then everybody started to call me to ask me about what was going on. So it is an approval by the state, and you're right, there is a lot of inconsistencies. There are 4 different types of Delta 8. It is an isomer. It is not a cannabinoid. It is an actual isomer, but it is derived from the hemp plant. That's why it falls under our hemp bill.
Right.
And they just made, for loose terms, they just equated our hemp bill to the federal hemp bill. That's why we were able to gray area sell it. I'm going to call it a gray area.
Absolutely.
Delta 8 can be whatever. I was selling 300 milligram brownie squares.
Wow.
Like, I had to stop selling them because I had people freaking out in Menards.
Legal, it needed to be below 0.3% THC. So that's specific to Delta 9. So they have to write the rule for each specific hydroxyl group? Okay, but hemp has to be, 0.03 or less to be sold legally. Yet. I really want to hear from ABC.
Yes. It's very good for sleep.
Question. I don't even know where to begin at. I'll soon be 70. I turned 21 in Vietnam. I turned 20 in Vietnam. I've been suffering from anxiety and PTSD for the last 45 years. It nearly broke our marriage up to one point. And I'm tired of driving to Colorado. And I'm too scared now that I've gotten older to get it off the street. Any suggestions?
Well, I guess I can't really ask if that's a HIPAA. Well, okay. Well, I guess I can't ask if you're a card holder. But okay, good. Well, I think that would be. I think that's a very good question. Firstly, you had mentioned. Sorry, go ahead. Okay. So common, this happens a whole lot. I'm sorry to hear you had that experience, with your family doctor. And, I guess to just speak to that very briefly, I think primary care physicians are very slowly coming around to the idea of cannabis being a viable treatment. Now, and understandable again with the apprehension about seeking out the black market and getting a product that is unknown, unlabeled, untested, unknown, possibly unsafe, what have you. So understandable anxiety with that. Also understandable anxiety with where to start, coming to something like this, trying to getting to the foray of legal medical cannabis, where to start. And, really the first stop is always going to be at the medical cannabis physician, one like myself or Dr. Nickel. Or the Murphy group, all right, another group that's here. I think really starting there and getting a solid educational base, something that we really emphasize in my company is with the new patients, we try and make that new patient experience a very guided, very helpful experience as much as possible. And what we focus on at my clinic is just really guiding them all the way from the very beginning, because there's two steps. The first step is getting certified. Like, say, in your case, military PTSD, a very, very common presentation. Thank you for your service, by the way, as well. Everyone out there who's a service member as well, very important. But yeah, really it's just a series of steps. First is going through the process with the physician, getting certified and getting just the first steps of knowledge as far as the interaction of THC, CBD, the terpenes, starter dose, methods of ingestion, all of those kind of things. We really try and guide our patients through when they start with us. And then after that, the step is really to get certified through the state. So once patients get a written certification from a medical cannabis physician or a clinic, after that point, they're going to upload that signed physician's written certification form to the state, and then the state processes it from there. And that process, I don't know, takes like 2 to 4 days, something like that.
I need some help.
I've got something that's coming up. So face-to-face therapy is mental health using cannabis, and they're one of our sponsors. They're doing 4 sessions a day. It's right down this hall in we call it the lounge area, okay? And at 1 o'clock they're doing anxiety and CBD, and then at 3:30 they're doing their veterans panel discussion. And earlier today the same moderator did a piece of PTSD at face-to-face therapy. So you might want to, after lunch, ease on down there and check in those two seminars. And also, she'll be there. I think what's Angela? Angela Campagna. And yeah. Angela. So just go down there at 1 o'clock and just sit in those two, and feel free to draw her aside and visit with her, because that's kind of what her focus is.
Real quick to finish on your two things. First of all, y'all make a lovely couple. And second, thank you for your service. The easiest method, hop on Google, just type in medical marijuana card, Arkansas, and it'll point you in the right direction to get your card. And then come by our dispensary, and we offer a 22% veterans discount for your service, and we appreciate you very much. Well, after we talk, we will.
Yeah, and we have 3 doctors here today, including Dr. Whitelocke, and the ACIS we have vouchers downstairs where you came in the door for 50% of the cost. So that'll take about, let's say, about $75, off of a lot of these.
And any dispensary will take care of you and what you need. I can say specifically from our shops, we value veterans very highly, and you work with any one of our bud tenders, and they'll create you a regimen that'll work well for yourself. CBN, CBD, what have you.
Okay. What's another question? We got a few more minutes here. Yes, ma'am.
Well, we were talking about the certifications with the concealed carry. I went through this last year with my mom. My mom's got a regular medical marijuana card, and I've got a caregiver card. With a caregiver, because I called the state highway patrol, and they stated that I have a concealed carry. I could not get a regular medical marijuana card, but I could get the caregiver card. Caregiver card, I can't go into a dispensary and buy it, but I can pick it up for her. So that's the difference, yeah, is that because I have a concealed carry, they said you cannot carry, you can have a regular card, but you can get a caregiver card.
Thank you very much. Any other questions? Okay, Chris, what's the difference between CBD, CBG, and THC? Just chemically, and I mean, what's the difference? It's all coming from the same plant, isn't it?
It does all come from the same plant. The most basic and extreme difference is going to be THC will create those psychoactive effects for you. It is where people generally get that high from. CBD, CBG can promote a sense of well-being, so it can change your state of mind through how your body's feeling from the results of it and things like that, but it does not create those psychoactive effects like THC will. That's the primary difference in it. Can I say one thing about some stuff earlier, though? Regardless of what you're doing with cannabis and everything like that, make sure you track what you are doing. That'll be the best way to really zone in on a best course of treatment for you. I know at our dispensary, we just partnered up with the Relief app is what it's called. It's the #1 rated cannabis tracking app. It'll actually help you track your modes of ingestion. It will track your experience with the products. And then it takes that data and anonymously reports just what you're experiencing from the product back to the dispensary. So my techs are able to go to that, to basically what you are saying works best, and pull that information based strictly on Arkansas's phenotypes of the products and strains that you are trying. So you're getting, a more accurate picture of what's going on there. We can actually take up to 4 conditions at that point, and it will rate out what the top 5 products or top 10 products would be best based on what's available in the dispensary at that time. So if you're tracking, your use and everything like that, that app is a great way to do so. We're hoping in time that it's really going to help narrow in on what the best course will be for most individuals that come through that dispensary without you guys having to waste so much time, effort, and money in trying to figure out what the best solution is.
All right. Any questions right now? I'm going to do closing statements, if I will, if I may, and I'm going to start with you, Dr. Whitelocke. What What is it that if we haven't touched on it, what is the one thing that you want these people to know, most importantly, in terms of your area, your field?
Oh, sure. Great question. You know, more than anything, folks, what I try and get people is time, quality of life years. Okay. That's the reason why I'm here doing medical cannabis. Really, more than anything, I think if we're going to squeeze anything out of cannabis therapy, really making it patient-centric, it's focusing on how to really use it as a powerful tool to gain more functional wellness if people are having mental, emotional problems, really touching in on the correct strain, not just, not everything at the dispensary is going to agree with you. So really focusing on the right combination of THC, CBD, and the terpenes. I hope we can really, really focus in on the importance of terpenes, really tailoring it to each patient. So more than anything, whatever symptom that's really keeping them back from squeezing out the maximum amount of joy out of life, really attacking that symptom using cannabinoids and really just conservative measures, really getting on top of that and try and focus on the correct strain and the correct amount and frequency, and trying to tailor make it so the patient can really, really get the most out of life and get over whatever hurdles are keeping them back from realizing the best them that they can be.
I'm going to interrupt myself. You touched on something. Who would like to talk about terpenes and exactly what they are and why they are so important?
Gotcha. So when I was talking about the entourage effect earlier, terpenes are one of those components to the entourage effect. Terpenes, flavonoids, alkaloids, cannabinoids are some of your best friends in your cannabis journey. Terpenes specifically are, in my opinion, and a very broad term, is the personality of the plant. Obviously, all of those things encompassed together make up the entire personality of the plant, but the terpenes are really what the smell and taste are going to be. Flavonoids more so for taste, but the terpenes is really that smell, and terpenes are found all over nature. This is not exclusive to cannabis. And what I really like to tell people, terpenes are very important. A lot of the focus right now in this medical market seems to be on THC. While it is very important, again, entourage effect, the terpenes are just as important. And what I like to go back to when I tell people if they're trying to pick out a flower they like or a concentrate even, if you smell a plate of food and it smells good to you, you're probably going to enjoy it. If that plate of food doesn't smell so good or appetizing to you, you're probably not going to enjoy it. And it's the same thing with cannabis. And it's not science. It's not 100% proven. It's what I've found. It's what most people in this industry have found. If you open up a jar of flower or concentrate and it smells good to you, more than likely you'll end up enjoying the effects and the quality of that high.
Did you speak up?
I'm with Good Day Farm. This gentleman here is with Osage. That's just specific to each business. Well, the crowd's got it. Leafly and Weed Maps are great resources for these things. They literally break down what these terpenes are, where they come from in nature, and what they do for the human body.
Sorry. The Relief app. RELEAF. And also, one of the e-commerce platforms that we have just opened up a ton of new options for us to build better profiles on all our products that we carry. Check out our menu on Dutchie.com. You'll actually see like us adding terpenes, more cannabinoid contents and things like that. We're building like a much better profile on all of these things. Check out Dutchie.com for that.
We're talking about the terpenes. I raise heirloom tomatoes on a small commercial scale. I'll do about 1,000 plants. And so after I've been out in the field, it's time to tie them. And so when you're tying these things, you have to reach around and grab them and pull them up and pull them into the string. And so you're basically embracing tomato plants with your face right here for, 3 or 4 hours. And by the time I get through with that, I'm high. Okay, and it's the terpenes. It's coming off of the plants. It's a sedative, and there's actually research on this because I was curious about why I always felt this way when I got through. And there's a sedative effect that comes out of the leaves and everything on the tomato plants, much like it does with cannabis and other plants as well. I took your opportunity away though about what would you like to leave this group with today?
I don't want to beat a dead horse. I feel like we talked about a lot of the science behind cannabis today. I represent Good Day Farm. My name is Mike. I'll be around at the convention all day. I just want to say first and foremost, we appreciate all of the patients here today. And even if you're not a patient, we appreciate you coming and learning about the science of cannabis and hearing what we all had to say. I'll be around. Find me if you want to pick my brain, but I appreciate everybody sitting here today.
Thanks, Mike.
All right, so I guess what I would like to leave everyone with, I have Healing Hemp of Arkansas, which is a CBD store off Cantrell. Know where your product is coming from. The market is completely just diluted right now with CBD products. We can get it at the gas station. You can get them at TJ Maxx. I mean, you could get it everywhere. You don't know what you're getting. Go somewhere that has your certificate of analysis. It's got a COA. It has a breakdown. Are there heavy metals in it? Or is there actually CBD in it? These things, you're buying stuff that you really don't know where it comes from. So that would be what I would leave with you. Know where it is. Go somewhere that has reliable vendors, and then somewhere that if you ask them to see a COA, they can produce it for you.
The CACOA?
It's to look at a COA, certificate of analysis. I think that is one of the most important things. I think that it's really muddying the waters for the benefits for CBD because people are buying it at a gas station and then deciding it actually doesn't work because, again, it probably doesn't even have CBD in it. And they're not being provided with a benefit to figure it out, what is actually working for them and what could be helpful for them. So know where
your stuff is coming from.
Know where it's coming from.
Chris, why don't you wrap us up?
First off, thank everybody for being here. The world of cannabis is vast. Things like this allow us all to come together, share our knowledge. As we do that, we learn more and more about this world. And as it all progresses, you will find that cannabis has more and more benefits. They discover this year after year. I cannot wait to see what this industry has to offer in this state, even in 5 years from now. Like the gentleman from Good Day has mentioned, we hope to see recreation passing soon. That way more and more people can have access. As recreational, passes, at Osage Creek, we're never going to lose sight of the medical aspect of anything, though. That's what started this all off. That's what's going to keep the ball rolling and keep people who are on the fence about it at least entertaining the idea because they're going to continue to see their loved ones improving who are actually giving it a shot. We will continue to get better for all you guys. We are new to this industry, but as we grow, as we learn, there will be advancements and improvements in what we do. Give us time. We'll definitely get there for y'all.
Okay, any final questions before we wrap up? Yes, sir.
Where is the testing on y'all's product done? Is it done in-house with a lab set, or is it sent off to a state lab or ABC? Can you answer that for me?
I can. Certificate of analysis generally come from Stateville. I think there is a couple more people that have came online, but it is all, independently verified. None of it is in direct connection with us, so that that those testing results are, not being paid for, not being altered, anything else. It is from an independent source.
Any other questions? All right, panel, thank you very much. Could I have a big hand for it?